Hi guys, today we're going to talk a little bit about drawing pictures and writing equations when it comes to a multiplication word problem. We read a problem and then where do we go from there? So this is going to be a little bit about steps to take after you read the problem. So first, here's our initial problem. A pine tree is 5 times as long as a dogwood tree. If a dogwood was 6 feet long, how long is the pine tree? Now, instead of talking about it, I'm going to read that again to you nice and slowly. A pine tree is 5 times as long as a dogwood tree. So just by knowing that, we're going to know that a pine tree is going to be much taller than a dogwood tree because it's 5 times as long. Then it gives me the measurement of a dogwood. If a dogwood was 6 feet, how long would the pine tree be? So I gave you a little bit of information here, and then I switched it around and gave you some different information. So before you can move on and solve the problem, you have to be able to understand what the problem is asking you. So you have to read and understand. Read the problem and ask yourself these 2 questions. What do I know? What am I asked to find? Based on the problem that we just read about the pine tree being 5 times as large as a dogwood and a dogwood being 6 feet long, how long was a pine tree? What do I already know? Well, number 1, I know that a dogwood tree is 6 feet long. It gave me that fact in the problem. It told me that the dogwood is 6 feet long. Then it also told me that a pine tree is 5 times as long as a dogwood. I don't quite know the exact measurement of the pine tree yet, but I do know that it's 5 times as long as the dogwood, which I do have a measurement for. The second question you need to ask yourself, what am I asked to find? Why am I solving this problem? What do I need to do? What do I need to solve for? What am I finding? I need to find out how long the pine tree is. And this is normally located in the very end of your problem or the beginning when they say, well, how much, how little, how long. When they ask you that specific type of question, that is asking you that's telling you what you need to find. How long is the pine tree? How long is the pine tree? That's what I'm trying to find. I know how long the dogwood is, but I know the pine tree is 5 times that length. So now I have to do some kind of detective work to find the pine tree's length out. After you read and understand the problem and you ask yourself those 2 questions, what do I know? What am I asked to find? You do all that planning out. Then you have to actually write your plan. This is where you would draw a picture if you needed to draw a picture. I've illustrated a beautiful picture here for us. Here I have this box. That's just going to represent the dogwood tree. Just that box. And it's telling me that 6 is because it told me that it's 6 feet long. The dogwood tree is 6 feet long. Then I have a pine tree here. But it told me that the pine tree is 5 times as many or 5 times as long as the dogwood. So I drew the same box, but I drew 5 of them because it's 5 times as long as this one. Is this 5 times as long as this? Yes. I mean, it's not exact measurement, but for the most part, yes. Then I'm asked to find how many feet in all is the pine tree. Taking this picture, I can now transform this picture into a multiplication number sentence, or what we want to call in 4th grade a multiplication equation. My equation could be, if 1 is 6 and I'm doing 5 times 6, then I have 5 times 6. 5 times as many as one tree that is 6 feet tall. I could flip-flop this because the commutative property of multiplication says that 6 times 5 is going to give me the same product. That's up to you, however you decide to write it. Regardless of the way you write it, you're still going to get the same product. 5 times 6 is 30. 6 times 5 is 30. So the pine tree was 30 feet long. Now, instead of writing multiplication, think about to yourself, what else tells me multiplication? Repeated. That's it. Addition. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. It will still give me 30 feet long for the pine tree. You good? Okay. Now we're going to look at another problem. We're going to look at Sally, and she's making a recipe. So Sally's recipe calls for 4 times as many almonds as peanuts. Okay? If Sally uses 2 cups of peanuts, how many cups of almonds will she use? Okay, read it again. Sally's recipe calls for 4 times as many almonds as peanuts. So do I have more almonds or peanuts? 4 times as many almonds as peanuts. So I must have a smaller amount of peanuts and more of the almonds. That's the 4 times this amount. If she uses 2 cups of peanuts, how many cups of almonds will she use? Okay, so we kind of have a little bit of an understanding of our question, but we want to make sure we really understand it. So we want to ask ourselves those 2 questions. What do I know? What am I asked to find? What do we know here? We know that Sally's using 2 cups of peanuts because it says if Sally uses 2 cups of peanuts, 2 cups peanuts, we know that's a fact for sure in the problem. Another thing that we know is that she will use 4 times as many cups of peanuts, this should say of almonds. She's going to use 4 times as many cups of peanuts of almonds, not this. She's going to use 4 times as many of the peanuts to give us the almonds, that total. So what am I asked to find? Again, this is going to give you in here how many cups of almonds will she use. What am I asked to find? I'm asked to find out how many cups of almonds are needed for this recipe. How many cups of almonds will she use? I'm asked to find how many cups of almonds. That's what I need to find. Okay? Again, after we read and understand, we ask ourselves, what do I know? What do I need to find? We're going to plan out our problem. And what I always suggest is draw a picture if you're not so sure. Always draw a picture because a picture helps you put your thoughts down on paper and you get to see them back in front of you. Even though you know what's going on up here, if you write it down on the paper and you see it, maybe you have some kind of confusion between the two and it's best to clear it up before you try to solve the problem. So here we have a picture. And peanuts is represented by 2 cups. But it told me that there's 4 times as many almonds. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes with the number 2 in it because I know I have 4 times as many almonds as I do peanuts. Looking at this picture, I can count by multiples of 2. I can kind of estimate what I think the answer is going to be. I can do a lot of things just from this picture. But what I want you to do is write a multiplication equation from this picture. If I know that this is 2 cups, then what is this? 2 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 because it's 4 times as many. So I'm writing my problem 2 times 4. 2 cups of peanuts times 4 times as many almonds gives me how many cups? 8 cups of almonds. 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to need 8 cups of almonds and only 2 cups of peanuts. So now I want you to try some on your own. Open up your book or go online to your online edition to page 69. I want you to work out problems 5, 6, 7, and 8. And please make sure that you bring me back a picture and an equation written down for me to see when I check your homework. I'm going to be checking for that picture that you drew to solve the problem and the equation that you used to solve the problem. Thanks. Have a great day.